Naughty thing. Naughty thing changed its settings.
Oh, I see how it is.
Naughty microphone. There we go. Okay. So we were saying, aren't the baby Hurtons cute?
Well, aside from him.
And how long this week has already been. And yes. It's only Wednesday
Somehow
night.
it's Wednesday. It seems to have been Wednesday for about 72 hours.
I know. It's been a very, very... Oh gosh, that's not a great start, is it? It's just...
Hey, welcome to this show.
Don't take a nap.
Well, whatever. Sorry, what?
We're here. We are here. It's just been a very action-packed, lots of things, such a long week, big week, much trouble, very tired.
Nothing inherently bad either.
No, it's just...
the angle of attack is such that our working days started at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, literally working at 8 a.m.
Yes, and we haven't really stopped all day yet. And so by the time we finish the stream and go to bed, I will fall asleep quite quickly. Well, not like I don't fall asleep quite quickly.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Yeah, I fall asleep very quickly. But...
I mean, the closest thing I got to downtime today was I watched an episode of Armored Spaceman Has Feelings whilst I was cooking. Or Halo, as you folks insist on calling it.
And I finished the last 2 chapters of my book over dinner. That was about what it is. Rest for Marguerite and Alasdair.
2K22, yes.
Like, to the point where I've just looked at what we have to do this weekend and I've kicked it all a week. I'm like, no.
Fuck that. Like, full-on cat on the shelf mode. Oh, this? No. This? No. You want this? Fuck you.
No. Next week. It all waits for another week. Go ahead.
So, yeah, Halo is very good. It takes a while. The first episode is rough, and then it just keeps getting better. It is a good time. And I don't even play the games.
No. And, okay, so there have been many requests for good vibes in the chat tonight. Hawkeye, good vibes for you for interviewing. Fingers crossed. Anybody who's joining us, who's tired tonight, who's not feeling it, who's under the covers, who's eating, as a friend of ours would say, crisps in their pants, by all means, welcome. We're just going to have a nice, chill, spooky little story tonight and some fun stuff to make you laugh and to not send you to bed on nightmare fuel. We are returning to fiction. Yay! We're going to do kind of a shorter one this time, and then next week we have a big old M.R. James story planned.
It is and Chonky Boy. We also have some interesting video games we're looking at, but we haven't got to anywhere past. That's a list of video games.
Wait till we get recording for Encore and I just make you sit and rest for an hour. Hey, rude. Also, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, but of all the people who could accomplish that, that's probably you. That's valid. That's totally valid. Yes, it's been a very long week. I mean, to the point where, like, Chungus is like, can we just wear a hoodie and go to bed?
Mom, could we not?
Yes, like, I know it's a journal, but I'm looking at the little pocket going, like...
It's a Kindle.
It's a Kindle.
Kindle.
I'm taking my Kindle and my cup of tea and my comfort hoodie and going to bed. It probably didn't help that the weather today was my least favorite weather in this country, which is... It's comfortably warm, but it's raining. And not like... raining to the point where, like, the temperature drops, but, like, that exact level of not quite drizzle, but a little bit harder, so you either need a coat or an umbrella, but wearing either a coat or an umbrella in 95% humidity and warm temperatures makes you miserable.
If Michael Gove were rain.
If Michael Gove were weather, that would be today. And not the interesting... variety of Michael Grove we got today. Hamer.
Coked off his tits. Coked off his tits.
Best case scenario, he needs to fire his media advisor because this whole, I'm going to do funny accents and bounce on the edge of my seat like Tom Cruise at Oprah's couch thing. No.
You are a feral Channel 4 1980s children's puppet that has escaped and stayed on the moors close to the meat. Know your role, Gove.
Yeah. Wow, that got dark.
It's not even my line. It's rarely my line.
Mist with delusions of grandeur. Yes.
Mist with delusions of
condensation with ideas above its station. Just Ugh.
Gloaming, but a twat. You know.
Now, gloaming is a light level, isn't it? It's when it starts to get dark.
I think so.
Okay.
That was one of my lines.
Delusions of adequacy.
Delusions of adequacy.
Even better, Zalia. Even better. So you're going to do the whole 3 things we do on the show?
No, because I want to show them the Muppets.
Okay. All right. Fine. We won't. We're not going to tell you what 3 things we do on the show. We're just going to stick.
No, we are. We just want to show.
Muppets.
We just want to show them the Muppets first. That's all.
Okay. So, where do we have one of the little booklets?
We have a bunch of them. They're in my bin.
Do you have one's hands?
It's all right. You vamp. No one heard me say I threw the shit away.
Do. I can't sing that. We'll get in trouble. Hunted flesh mannequin is my favorite description of him. Yes, it is. It is a very good description of. I think of him as the painting in the closet.
Yes.
That goes evil as time goes by. So yes, Lego has new Muppet minifigs. If anybody has seen these.
Oh my.
Muppets. So, oops! Half a dozen of them tripped and followed us home. Oh no. Oh, very no. And of course, the first one that Alasdair got. Can anybody take a wild guess?
My patron saint, my dude, my guy.
I still can't figure out why he's carrying a banana, other than it was a convenient piece. Yes, exactly. You have a Tolmec! Wendy, it's sold out before we could order it! We're very, very jealous we were not successful. We're
so happy for you.
I'm so happy for you! And soon we will have one of our very own. Yes.
Earlier today, they confirmed that the Lego Optimus Prime is on the way.
Oh, God.
That transforms.
It's time to insult. Yes, exactly. And then, of course, I got my favorite, which is Rolf. Look, he has the little tiny Beethoven bust and the sheet music. It makes me so happy. It's very cute. And then we got
Birsky.
Swedish Chef.
Whose tomato looks just thrilled to be horribly sliced up any moment.
Yeah, he does look like... the tomato looks like it wants to start its own TikTok channel. Come on, camera focus. There we go. See? I do like the Swedish Chef, though. We ended up getting it from the Evil River site, and it has a crucial piece missing. No!
Oh, no.
Zalia, how big is it? Oh, sorry, not Zalia, apologies. Wendy, how tall is the tall nut going to be?
It is completely acceptable if you respond with, about this tall, in text, by the way.
Gonzo, you are genderqueer. Rolf, you are depressed. All right, but hey. Yes, exactly. And then I am very, 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 very happy about the fact that we got Statler and Waldorf.
The proto-bloggers.
The two hecklers.
Twitter's 2 original users.
Yes, the original 2 Twitter users. The okay boomers of Muppets. I'm very excited that we have them as well. A bit more than a foot.
So about...
So that's going to be... Okay, there you go. Ta-da! Look at his face! He has such I wants it face. Yeah, exactly about that much. Yes, exactly. So, I'm hoping we'll get it. Statler and Waldorf are clearly members of the Greatest Generation. Yeah, fair.
Mm-hmm.
True. Aren't they like Scooter's parent, or dad, or granddad, or something?
It's always been loosely implied, and the fact that one of them has Scooter on his desktop.
He's got Scooter on his laptop, so I'm a little bit like, maybe that'll actually focus. There we go.
Who needs a camera to focus in 2022?
Come on.
I mean, seriously.
Whatever. So, I wish they would do a playset of... Didn't they do a playset of the theater?
No.
No. Oh, God. That's gonna be miserable. About 14 inches. Oh, even bigger than that.
Woof.
I meant the tall neck.
I know you meant the tall neck.
All right.
It's like when someone says 69 and you hung up and go, nice.
Nice. Okay. Can you give me Fossey back so he doesn't get lost? Here he is. He's wandered off stage. So, the full set. We have a spare Rolf. If people want to do like...
Actively seeking on Piggy.
Piggy. I need a Piggy. I need a Miss Piggy very badly. I also want a Beaker and Honeydew as well. So, we might have to buy some more of these and see if we get
Well, I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think we're going to accidentally buy some more Lego.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be this wonderful hack that we had. We used to live in Milton Keynes, and I know lots of people don't like it, but I love it because it's on a grid and I can make 3 right turns and not be lost. And they had a Lego store, and if you went into the Lego store like in the middle of a weekday when it was pretty quiet and you brought like a half dozen donuts, the staff were all very good at figuring out which minifig was in the packaging, and you could be like, here are donuts. I would like these 4 figures, please. And they'd sit there and fish them out for you.
We are still spoken of in myth. The donut whisperers.
Yeah, donut whisperers. Well, they are the Lego whisperers. We just brought donuts, but haven't been to Milton Keynes in quite a while. Unfortunately, I like it there.
Me too.
That today I received a colony of yellow ants, and I'm feeding them yellow fruit.
Well, obviously. The Heston Blumenthal School of Ant Gastronomy that's totally legit.
That sounds... Are you going to feed them yellow vegetables as well, or do they prefer only fruit? I don't know what you feed ants. I would kind of guess fruit. High sugar-based diet. Social engineering.
The ants are intense little lads. They've got a lot to do.
They are. They are very much so. Shall we do a monologue?
Yeah.
This is where you tell everybody the things we do.
We do 3
on
things on this show. The first thing we do is an opening monologue, which is a chance for you to get situated. And by situated, we mean a chance for you to get comfortable, take any meds you might need, make sure you're hydrated, make sure you're fed. As importantly, make sure that anyone around you, regardless of how many legs they have,
or that you are responsible
or that you are responsible for, is hydrated and fed, and in many cases not all up in your business. Once that's done, then we will proceed with this week's story, which is a doozy, frankly, and is from one of my favourite, weirdest authors, who was responsible for my all-time favourite theatrical experience that wasn't...
Bless you, you're going to sneeze. Bless you. See, if I just keep saying bless you, you won't sneeze. Oops, oh well, almost.
That wasn't seeing Hamilton, or that time we went to Derren Brown and you stopped me being hypnotised into killing the Prime Minister. Hello to MI5. Let's move on. Once the story is concluded, we will then do some shenanigans, which may or may not be...
And probably take a little break.
Take a little break as a treat. Then some shenanigans that may or may not be heading back to Scarlet Hollow in various shapes and forms. And then we're going to go to bed. All of this sounds great. Come with us for the first 3. Bed. That's all us.
Compounding my cat's medicine like an old-timey pharmacist with a mortar and pestle. I have a mortar and pestle in my kitchen, though I do not use it for old-timey medicines. But yes, I totally... Primo vibes. Excellent. Escaped tarantula is safely returned to its enclosure. Yay! I'm very glad to hear that.
Fantastic.
I'm very glad that everyone knows where it is now. I'm sure that's a great relief to all parties involved.
The naughty has 9 legs and is shut safely in the living room. Good.
Fair.
Good.
Oh, just a baby. Just a baby. Okay, sorry. Too much TikTok. Right. Opening monologue.
All right.
This
this does come to us, as they so often do, from our house band, the magnificent Mr. Nate Crowley.
Yes.
Content warnings for violence and lols.
Violence and lols.
Have you played gratuitous space battles?
Like the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. Only good.
Like a tin of hyper-strength lager lurking behind grubby plastic curtains in the chiller cabinet of a dismal newsagent, gratuitous space battles knew just what it was about, and didn't make any secret of the fact. It was about selecting massive fleets of spaceships, tooling them up with guns, and wellying them into each other like shopping trolleys full of anvils.
Shopping trolleys full of anvils. I have a comment about this, though we will come back to after the story. There was no live tactical control during battles, and only the most limited instructions could be imparted on ships prior to action. Almost entirely, victory hinged on piling the right types of lasers on the right types of hulls and starting them off in the right places. In its way, it was far more a puzzle game than an RTS, but even more than that, it was an excuse for setting up kind of bombastic, ultra-destructive light shows that sci-fi daydreamers are made of. It could have been something far more nuanced and tactical, but then it wouldn't have been gratuitous space battles, would it? It would have been nuanced and tactical space battles.
Indeed, looking at new releases in 2019, 10 years on from GSB's debut, you'd think to find a spiritual successor in something like the maximalist deep future Fleet 'em Up Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. Instead, I contend the game has much more in common with Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, in which you line up armies of boneless, spinny-eyed goons and then grin in delight as they wail on each other. So, if you've enjoyed Tabs, but it needed a little more in the way of plasma weaponry, you know where to go next.
Gratuitous Space Battles does what it says on the tin, you know. Nate Crowley was created from smokeless flame before the dawn of time. He writes books and tweets a lot as Frog Croakley. Each October, he's replaced by Ghostus, the Roman ghost.
We have met Ghostus.
And we've met Ghostus and seen him in a hot tub.
Yes.
He also made a convention appearance once a year, if I remember correctly.
Nate also was once memorably pinned by his 9-month-old daughter in a professional wrestling match in Japan.
Really?
There are photos.
Oh, that's the cutest thing!
Bless him, he sold really well,
too. Oh, of all people to be a baby face, it would be Nate.
Of course.
Let's be honest. Spaghetti and veggie balls in progress. That sounds amazing. What did we have for dinner? We had stream dinner. We had stream dinner. Stream dinner is chicken patties.
Chicken patty, cheese, tomato,
chicken burgers,
spicy mayo.
Chicken burgers and fries.
And some form of bread delivery system.
Yes.
I baked. I made some more blueberry and lemon hot cross buns.
And they're really good.
I have crossed the Rubicon. I've stepped across into the forbidden zone.
Thank you for the follow, Jan.
I have solved the wet jigsaw puzzle.
The what jigsaw puzzle?
Let's move on. Because there are certain perceived forbidden rites in UK culture. One of which is...
related to baking?
Yes.
Okay.
That one snapped as it went past. It went so close. I've always kind of had this...
Refer my honourable colleagues to their earlier comments about crisps in one's pants.
Indeed.
Bravo! Exactly.
Well done.
Golf clap.
I'm sure the Brits in the chat will discuss this in more detail as well. But I've always felt there's a perception that there are certain foods that you eat when they arrive in supermarkets. Well, no, that's not true. 6 weeks after they arrive in supermarkets, because then it feels kind of proper. There's only like a week left before the festive window closes. And then when the window closes, you just never make them again. Or you never eat them again until they show up. And for me, no food is more the monarch of this school of failure and repression than the hot cross bun. Now, Marks and Spencer's have recently rolled out a whole variety of what I would like to call stunt hot cross buns. There's salted caramel.
They're like influencer hot cross buns, right? They're like the new and special flavor that will be there for 3 weeks.
Deconstructed pasta hot cross buns, you know. All this kind of stuff. But one of the ones they do really well is the blueberry hot cross buns. And I know this because we got a packet one week and I ate all of them and they were great.
And then I got upset that I did not get any. And so there were there were blueberries in the fridge. I think I asked for blueberry muffins. And we've probably told the blueberry muffin story before. He's my blueberry muffin.
I'm a blueberry muffin.
I'm my blueberry muffin, and I wanted blueberry muffins. But instead he made blueberry hot cross buns. And now he's not allowed to make anything but blueberry hot cross buns because they're very tasty. So, see, shall we talk about favorite flavors of hot cross, like celebrity influencer hot cross buns? I'm not a big fan of the, like, bread and chocolate combo. Like, I don't want chocolate in my banana bread, and I don't like chocolate bread or, like, chocolate croissants, really. I don't mind having chocolate with a bread product, but the combination tends to, like, generally not work very well for me.
Whereas, by and large, I'm like, pain au chocolat, a chocolate sandwich, yes, please.
You're like, bread? Chocolate? Yes! You like the blueberry ones.
I like the blueberry
ones.
ones.
I like sultanas. I do like fruit in them. And he's like, nah, he doesn't like that at all.
Mildly evil grandma. 3 very clear memories of her. The plastic biscuit barrel that was older than I was, with the custard creams in it that were definitely older than I was.
Okay, tonight's gender, slightly evil grandma.
Reading the Radio Times because our weekly grumpy contractually obliged visit was usually adults making pained small talk, and I was just like, I might watch this film. Doesn't that explain a lot?
You hiding from social awkwardness in a film directory? No! Okay.
And bad scones. Bad scones full of sultanas.
How do you do bad scones?
Really easily.
Define bad. Use your culinary language.
Okay, so you know how the crumb is...
So you know rocks, right?
Idiots. You know how the crumb in a scone or a biscuit is really important? That it has to be light and fluffy, but it also has to be craggy.
And
it has to
crumbly.
And it has to be aerated, but at the same time, it also has to have some structural integrity.
Ideally, yes.
Okay. These
scones, take away all of those things.
Yes, literally. These scones were about 35 sultanas and some dough that just didn't want to be there. You could shape it like this.
Oh dear.
Barely baked. Or they would just crumble into crumble, and not the fun kind of crumble.
Granny's rington ginger snaps followed by solid rock buns that could put a window through.
Yep.
Oof. See, my grandma was from Texas, and so when we did biscuits, which is what we call scones because we have savory versions of them, they're that freaking tall, and they're light as air. And you split them in half, and you cover them in cheese and gravy. And
sometimes have chicken on them, actually.
Oh, chicken biscuits. Oh, we need to not talk about chicken biscuits, or I'm going to have to go make biscuits, and it'll be way too late.
Oh, no, please don't make biscuits this weekend.
We were talking about your favorite flavor of novelty hot cross buns.
My favorite flavor of novelty hot cross buns are blueberry. So it was really, really nice to suddenly kind of cross that moment. It was that kind of, no, wait, I'm an adult. I have free time and flour. Fuck this shit. And I made some. And baking is always a little bit Mr. Toad's Wild Ride with me. Sometimes it's great.
Oh, Wendy, no! Okay, saving butter papers for greasing cake tins, fine. Stored on a shelf rather than in the fridge.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh no. Oh dear. I do the whole make your own baking spray. Okay, so in the US it's called Pam. You buy it in a can and you spray it on, and it is a combination of oil and flour that will coat a pan before you bake in it. But now I just make my own. Like with a hand mixer, you just whip it all together. But even then I store in the fridge because it has oil in it. Ugh. I will only eat hot cross buns out of the novelty flavors. I'm not religious, but I feel like it's crossing a line. Nicely. See, but what they did this year was they did some savory ones. You could get chili and cheese, which was their definition of chili. But then they made Marmite ones. And Marmite hot cross buns are like the best thing that ever happened to a poached egg for breakfast. They're so good! So I love them very much.
What I'm hearing is the next time I bake, you want me to bake some Marmite hot cross buns.
I'm kind of frightened about the idea of domestically producing something with Marmite in it.
Oh, also, this is one of those recipes which lies in the good way, as opposed to that thing where it's like, just fold this in. How? Fold it in how? This makes 6, except it doesn't. It actually makes 25.
Yes, exactly. A regular favorite hot cross bun used to make a cheese sandwich is God. Oh, yes. A regular hot cross bun for a cheese sandwich. But Wendy, you could have a Marmite hot cross bun cheese sandwich, and that would be even better.
Or better still, a Marmite hot cross bun with a Fairfield on it.
True. That would be good too. Fairfield's for... Nobody's going to know this. So there's this famous restaurant in LA called Egg Slut. That's its name. And it's famous for doing what I would call taco truck breakfast sandwiches. So... Oh, you only like Marmite in the context of Twiglets. That's
fair.
Valid.
That is fair.
That is the annual Christmas tradition, is the barrel of Twiglets. But basically, it's this great scrambled egg and cheese and spicy mayo breakfast sandwich. They usually serve it with some sort of crusty, poofy roll. But
yes.
with a hot cross bun, it's pretty good.
And also with caramelized onions, which I am not allowed to do.
And, more importantly, there is now an Egg Slut in London. And we are planning at some point in the future where we are stressed to the nines and need a break. We're going to go have a foodie weekend.
And it's just possible that Sky will pay for us to do this. We have news!
Was that my cue?
Yes.
Okay. So, the broadband is stable.
Look.
See, it's still here. Why is Alasdair not allowed to caramelize eggs? Well, nobody should caramelize eggs. But why is Alasdair not allowed to caramelize onions? Because the last time Alasdair caramelized onions, he was going to do them in the microwave. And the microwave method had him, you were supposed to microwave it for a minute and give it a stir. But Alasdair set the microwave for 10 minutes and didn't realize it. And then there was black smoke in the kitchen and there are still scorch marks in the microwave. So Alasdair is not allowed to make caramelized onions anymore. So instead, you want the easiest hack in the world for caramelized onions? Get way too many onions. All the onions. All the onions you can actually get your hands on.
Like an unsettling amount of onions.
Like just ridiculous quantities of them. Slice them however you want to slice them. If you want to put them in little tiny pieces, fine. I usually do half moons. Put them in your slow cooker with a big chunk of butter and a big sprinkle of salt and a big sprinkle of sugar. And turn your slow cooker on low for 6 hours and walk away. Maybe stir them every once in a while.
5 hours in, take the lid off.
Yeah, an hour before the end, take the lid off so all the moisture can evaporate and they can caramelize on the bottom. Ta-da! Caramelized onions. Yes, we do still have one. I once set off the fire alarm at work in a very similar way. Microwave in the bag popcorn has a lot to answer for. Yes, it does. Uncomfortable onion qualities. Because that's the thing. You put 10 pounds of sliced onions and cook them down into like a pot like this big. Because they just turn into nothing but jam and it's tasty. Your man doesn't have what it takes to caramelize onions meme. Is there a your man doesn't have what it takes to caramelize onions meme?
There is.
I did not know that. I'm sorry, honey.
It's okay. I make up for it.
You memed. We were like spinach, right? You can take a whole freaking giant bag of it, and then when you're done, there's like 3 little tiny green pieces in the mac and cheese. It's weird. What were we talking about? Well, Sky. Sky's gonna play for my foodie weekend because the broadband is up and stable, and now they gotta pay us for the.
Because it was
72
really
days
for a long time
that we did not have broadband. So they're going to pay us for that. And then they're going to reimburse us for all the time that they were charging us for broadband that they were not delivering. And then I also let it be known what I wished in compensation. And they delivered. Which is good. And so any day now, we're supposed to get even more internets. So once that's done, what we want to do is we're thinking we're going to have like a London foodie weekend and just go to a couple of restaurants, including Eggslet, and see what it's like. Because I've never been to Dishoom either. And no. I've heard it's very, very tasty, and I love Indian food, so.
And we could go back to Duck and Waffle and, you know.
Wendy, lawyers are the worst people in the world to piss off when it comes to customer service because we know exactly what our rights are.
For the last
and we will not take anything less.
I have been blessed to be in the apartment when these calls have happened, and the "oh son, you have fucked all the way up" energy has been glorious.
Here we go. Here's the caramelize.
Bonus shenanigans.
Your man doesn't have the mental strength to caramelize onions. Your man thinks it takes 5 to 10 minutes to caramelize onions.
Who's fucking caramelizing onions? Have you sociopaths forgotten apples exist?
Do you think caramelizing onions is putting caramel on onions?
Your man doesn't even know what it means to caramelize onions.
Though, he makes a focaccia where you put thinly sliced onions and apple on top. And that is...
Thank you.
Super, super tasty.
Also, the format of that has reminded me of my favourite narrative conceit that I have encountered this week.
A narrative conceit?
Well, one of the two. We have been extremely
chili ice cream
lucky
awesome.
Because I was cleared for screeners for Strange New Worlds. And it's really very good. And I don't really want to say anything more than that.
Yes. So, what we've decided is that, okay, for folks who don't know, Paramount has started their own streaming service. And in the US, that meant that all of the various Paramount shows, like all of Star Trek, like Lower Decks and Discovery and all of it, have been pulled off of Netflix and such. And it meant that when Strange New Worlds launched last week?
Yes.
Week before? It was not available in the UK, and it's still not available in the UK. It will be available in the UK apparently in June. And you can either buy the Paramount Plus streaming service or Sky Cinema customers are supposed to get
it for free.
The
season is also almost certainly going to be showing up available to buy both physically and digitally, very fast.
So what we have streamers. We've seen the first 5 episodes of Strange New Worlds.
2 of them are instantly in my all-time top 10 favourite episodes of Star Trek.
But we're not going to talk about them until they have a UK release date. So until it's actually possible to not have to pirate them, we're not going to be reviewing them or talking about them.
Remind me when we do, because my first...
Oh, look! Celestial navigation for Star Trek! Oh, wow. That's a double entendre.
Isn't it?
That's nice.
High five up top.
Really done. Okay.
So, remind me when we do that, because I'll tell you the conceit that hits in one of those, which I love.
Hawkeye, you want to get into Star Trek, as in you haven't seen any of it at all? Ooh, we're going to have to talk about Star Trek.
Yes, we are.
Okay, finish your thought.
My second favourite narrative conceit I encountered today. Those of you who aren't familiar with the glorious Canadian profanity parade that is Letterkenny, Parks and Recreation's northern foul-mouthed sibling, please treat yourself. It is an adorable show. The thing that I was completely unaware of is the guy who is...
Oh, guys, never seen a Star Trek at all!
You want to take this? Because mine...
No, go.
Okay. The thing I was completely unaware of is the creator of Letterkenny, who also plays the lead, plays a major supporting character as well, who we never see from the front, because it's the same dude. And they're often in the same scene together.
I had no idea.
Even better, this character, Shorzy, has been given the spin-off. And there's a lot of speculation that what they're going to do is
have the other character be backwards in every scene! That's so brilliant! Oh, I love that very idea. You have seen one Star Trek, the movie with Chris...
That's actually a really good place to start.
Summer children! Okay. My mom was a Trekkie. I grew up on Star Trek. Like, it was my very first science fiction show. I've seen, I think, all of it. I've read a significant percentage of the novels. I used to have technical manuals. I used to make costumes. I used to go to conventions. I've met lots of the stars.
I've written for the RPG.
He's written for the RPG. Things are getting weirder, but we'll talk about it later. And I love what they're doing with modern Trek.
There's
Hawkeye.
700.
There are, for the original series, there are a good 60, 70 novels. Some of which are, in my opinion, the absolute epitome and critical character development moments for some of the characters.
It's also worth pointing out the novel universe is now a discrete and finite one. Friends of ours were actually the novelists hired to write the wrap-up trilogy that parks that timeline permanently.
Yes, I did the enthusiasm on Star Trek. Yes. Oh my gosh, do I love Star Trek. That's a great listen. We should not talk about Star Trek anymore because that's all I'm going to talk about. But all I'm going to say is I really love how Star Trek has been contemporized.
Yeah.
Especially Discovery, Lower Decks, Prodigy, and now Strange New Worlds. I mean, there's a lot of criticism about it as, oh, you got politics in it. When did politics come into Star Trek? In 1963, when it was invented. The first interracial kiss ever displayed on television in the United States was a Star Trek episode. I mean, there are whole books on the political activism of Star Trek. There are female astronauts in the United States today because of Nicole Nichols.
Yeah. She's
the reason why there are still women in space. Just there's so much that we can say there. So much. But yes, you have such wonderful things to experience, and I'm really looking forward to hearing how you get along with it, because I love it all.
For you. And if there is anything that we can do to steer you, please let me know.
But what I would also say is Star Trek doesn't require you to start from the beginning and go through.
You can land anywhere.
And one of the really strong things they've done is seasons like Discovery and Lower Decks especially have been about bringing the core elements of Trek to new generations and telling stories in mediums and in methods that are more responsive to those younger generations' first Trek experiences. Yeah. Lower Decks is the shit. It is the bomb. It is so much fun. If you like Rick and Morty, if you like...
it's like
any like contemporary cartoon series
with a healthy dose of really good live action sitcom. It has the heart of something like Parks and Recreation or Schitt's Creek. It's just the characters work on a space tug.
Yeah, exactly. And if you are someone like me who like lives and breathes Star Trek, it is Easter egg central. There's so many fun little jokes and references which are funny to it's the Pixar principle. There's something for the kids and something for the adults who are going with the kids. So there are jokes told on very many different levels, and I love it all in its dense, and it's wonderful.
The other
we're going to turn this entire stream into talking about Star Trek if we're not careful.
The other defining factor about contemporary Trek I really love is it is kind to its bones in every incarnation. Discovery is a show about the importance of fundamental individual decency.
And found family.
And found family.
Absolutely about the sacrifices found family make for themselves, for each other.
And they all are. Each one of these shows finds a way to explore just the fundamental good of humanity in different ways, which also makes them look awesome and frequently has stuff explode.
Yes. And the only thing we're going to say about Strange New Worlds is that very much continues. There will be so much fan art. OMG, I can't wait to see it.
AO3 isn't ready.
AO3 is not ready for Strange New Worlds. It's going to be wonderful.
Should we do a story?
We're supposed to be telling a scary story, and I'm just talking about Star Trek. So this is called The Man of Science. So quick segue.
This is written by Jerome K Jerome, who is best known for...
Poor schmuck.
What
a name.
To the surprise of no one with that particular name, he's best known as a comedy writer.
Really?
Yes. Jerome K Jerome is responsible for one of the great American comedic novels, which is one of my all-time favourites, Three Men in a Boat.
He wrote Three Men in a Boat?
He wrote Three Men in a Boat.
I had no idea.
Which is my all-time favourite theatrical experience. I saw it in York, maybe 25 years ago.
Don't say numbers out loud like that!
Brilliantly. It was three dudes in a boat on stage. The boat didn't move. Hilarity ensued. And one of the main characters in Three Men in a Boat, and it is three guys go, we're very bad at life. Let's just go on holiday until maybe it will go away. And
how does that work out?
And they take their dog with them. I have had nothing but positive experiences with theatrical dogs. The very first time I went to the theatre was The Woman in Black, which explains a lot.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I
think the first time I ever went to the theatre was The Nutcracker.
And the imaginary invisible dog in Three Men in a Boat and then Woman in Black, I swear I saw a couple of times. They acted around it so beautifully. In Three Men in a Boat, the performance I saw...
Wendy says, was that at the Theatre Royal?
I believe it may have been. Did it have a cardboard dog? Because Montmorency, the dog, was a piece of brown cardboard cut out into the shape of a dog. And at one point, he falls over. And one of them... Yes, you saw it too! Brilliant! At one point, one of them goes, what's wrong with the dog? And the other one looks up at him and goes, he's two-dimensional.
What a segue.
And on that day, a mildly surrealist comedy writer was born.
Oh, so that's why you love metafiction so much.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So, tie that into the Man of Science.
This is, as near as I can tell, the only piece of science fiction or horror that Jerome K. Jerome ever wrote. It is weird and...
Wendy, the dog didn't fall over when I saw it. I feel cheated.
It's weird and obtuse, and it's kind of a roundabout parody of M.R. James and a lot of the other stuff we've covered. I
wonder what the rights are like on Three Men in a Boat.
I had a feeling
Keep going.
And it's a fun piece. I think you'll dig it.
Cool. All right. So we're going to take just a second to rearrange things so that he can square himself up here in the screen. So I will probably go to the Be Right Back screen. If you want to get up and get because we've already been streaming 45 minutes. If you want to get up and take a quick stretch, everybody, while we switch things around, refill your waters and all that good stuff. Oh, you're just boogieing back there. He's just going to dance. We will be just right back for the story.
Oh, hey, it's me. Hey, folks. The Man of Science, published in 1892, written by Jerome K Jerome.
Oh, hold on. We have not done content warnings for this story.
We have not. Content warnings are death and dying, horror themes, mental health and trauma, socio-political themes, and violence. I mentioned he's a comedy writer, right?
Comedy writer in when?
The 19th century?
Yeah, okay, there we go.
I met a man in the Strand one day that I knew very well, as I thought, though I'd not seen him for years. We walked together to Charing Cross, and there we shook hands and parted. Next morning I spoke of this meeting to a mutual friend, and then I learnt for the first time that the man had died 6 months before. The natural inference was that I had mistaken one man for another, an error that, not having a good memory for faces, I frequently fall into. What was remarkable about this matter, however, was that throughout our walk I had conversed with the man under the impression that he was that other dead man, and whether by coincidence or not, his replies had never once suggested to me my mistake. As soon as I finished, Jeffson, who had been listening very thoughtfully, asked me if I believed in spiritualism to its fullest extent. "That's rather a large question," I answered. "What do you mean by spiritualism to its fullest extent?" "Well, do you believe that the spirits of the dead have not only the power of revisiting this earth at their will, but that when here they have the power of action, or rather of exciting to action? Let me put a definite case. A spiritualist friend of mine, a sensible and by no means imaginative man, once told me that a table, through the medium of which the spirit of a friend had been in the habit of communicating with him, came slowly across the room towards him, of its own accord, one night as he sat alone, and pinioned him against the wall. Now, can any of you believe that, or can't you?" "I could," Brown took it upon himself to reply. "But after doing so, I should wish for an introduction to the friend who told you the story. Speaking generally," he continued, "seems to me that the difference between what we call the natural and the supernatural is merely the difference between frequency and rarity of occurrence. Having regard to the phenomena we are compelled to admit, I think it illogical to disbelieve anything we are unable to disprove." "For my part," remarked McShaughnessy, "I can believe in the ability of our spirit friends to give the quaint entertainments credited to them much easier than I can in their desire to do so." "You mean," added Jeffson, "that you cannot understand why a spirit, not compelled as we are by the exigencies of society, should care to spend its evenings carrying on a laboured and childish conversation with a room full of abnormally uninteresting people."
Ouch, that's a burn.
"Jeffson, chill." "That is precisely what I cannot understand," McShaughnessy agreed. "Nor I, either," said Jeffson. "But I was thinking of something very, very different altogether. Suppose a man died with the dearest wish of his heart unfulfilled. Do you believe that his spirit might have power to return to earth and complete the interrupted work?" "Well," answered McShaughnessy, "if one admits the possibility of spirits retaining any interest in the affairs of this world at all, it is certainly more reasonable to imagine them engaged upon a task such as you suggest than to believe that they occupy themselves with the performance of mere drawing-room tricks. But what are you leading up to?" "Why, to this," replied Jeffson, seating himself straddle-legged across his chair and leaning his arms upon the back. "I was told a story this morning at the hospital by an old French doctor. The actual facts are few and simple. All that is known can be read in the Paris police records of 62 years ago. The most important part of the case, however, is the part that is not known, and that never will be known." The story begins with a great wrong done by one man unto another man. And what the wrong was, I do not know. I am inclined to think, however, it was connected with a woman. I think that, because he who had been wronged hated him who had wronged him with a hate such as does not often burn in a man's brain, unless it be fanned by the memory of a woman's breath. Yeah, I am going a bit Strax on this. We'll drop him in acid. We're trying to bring him back alive, Strax. We will lure him here and then not drop him in acid. Still, that is only conjecture, and the point is immaterial. The man who had once done the wrong fled. The other followed him. It became a point-to-point race, the first man having the advantage of a day's start. The course was the whole world. The stakes, the first man's life. Travellers were few and far between in those days, and this made the trail easy to follow. The first man, never knowing how far or how near the other was behind him, and hoping now and again that he might have baffled him, would rest for a while. The second man, always knowing just how far the first one was before him, never paused, and thus, each day, the man who was spurred by hate drew nearer to the man who was spurred by fear. Jeffson's very good at this. Also, this is a math problem. At this town, the answer to the never-varied question would be, at 7 o'clock last evening, monsieur. 7. 18 hours. Give me something to eat quick while the horses are being put to. At the next, the calculation would be 16 hours. Passing a lonely chalet, monsieur, puts his head out the window. How long since a carriage passed this way with a tall, fair man inside? Oh, such a one passed early this morning, monsieur. Thank you. Drive on. 100 francs apiece if you are through the pass before daybreak. And what for dead horses, monsieur? Twice their value when living. One day, the man who was ridden by fear looked up and saw before him the open door of a cathedral. He passed in, he knelt down, he prayed. He prayed long and fervently, for men, when they are in sore straits, clutch eagerly at the straws of faith. He prayed that he might be forgiven his sins, and more important still, that he might be pardoned the consequences of his sins. He would pray for deliverance from his adversary, and a few chairs from him, facing him, knelt his enemy, praying also. But the second man's prayer, merely being a thanksgiving, was short, so that when the first man raised his eyes, he saw the face of his enemy gazing at him across the chair tops with a mocking smile upon it. He made no attempt to rise, but remained kneeling, fascinated by the look of joy that shone out of the other man's eyes. And that other man moved the high-backed chairs one by one, and came towards him softly. Then, just as the man who had been wronged stood beside the man who had wronged him, full of gladness that his opportunity had come, there burst from the cathedral tower a sudden clash of bells, and the man whose opportunity had come broke his heart and fell back dead, with that mocking smile still playing round his mouth.
That is the most baller way to get out of a chase sequence. Oh, you're gonna kill me? Oh, I'm dead!
And so, he lay there, Then the man who had done the wrong rose up and passed out, praising God. What became of the body of the other man is not known. It was the body of a stranger who had died suddenly in the cathedral. There was none to identify it, none to claim it. Years passed away. The survivor in this tragedy became a worthy and useful citizen, became a noted man of science. In his laboratory were many objects necessary to him in his researches, and prominent among them stood in a certain corner a human skeleton. It was a very old and much mended skeleton, and one day the long-expected end arrived, and it tumbled to pieces. Thus it became necessary to purchase another. The man of science visited a dealer he well knew. A little, parchment-faced old man who kept a dingy shop where nothing was ever sold within the shadow of the towers of Notre Dame. The little parchment-faced old man had just the very thing that Monsieur wanted, a singularly fine and well-proportioned study. It should be sent round and set up in Monsieur's laboratory that very afternoon. And yes, I did get 4 syllables out of cathedral. The dealer was as good as his word. When Monsieur entered his laboratory that evening, the thing was in its place. Monsieur seated himself in his high-backed chair and tried to collect his thoughts, but Monsieur's thoughts were unruly and inclined to wander, and to wander always in one direction.
Hey, shut up.
Monsieur opened a large volume and commenced to read. He read of a man who had wronged another and fled from him, the other man following. Finding himself reading this, he closed the book angrily and went and stood by the window and looked out. He saw before him the sun-pierced nave of a great cathedral, and on the stones lay a dead man with a mocking smile upon his face. Cursing himself for a fool, he turned away with a laugh. But that his laugh was short-lived, for it seemed to him that something else in the room was laughing also. Struck suddenly still, with his feet glued to the ground, he stood listening for a while, and then sought, with starting eyes, the corner from where the sound had seemed to come. But the white thing standing there was only grinning. Monsieur wiped the damp sweat from his head and hands and stole out. For a couple of days he did not enter the room again. On the third, telling himself that his fears were those of a hysterical girl, he opened the door and went in. To shame himself, he took his lamp in his hand, and crossing over to the far corner where the skeleton stood, examined it. A set of bones, bought for 300 francs. Was he a child to be scared by such a bogey? He held his lamp up in front of the thing's grinning head. The flame of the lamp flickered as though a faint breath passed over it. The man explained this to himself by saying that the walls of the house were old, they were cracked, and that the wind might creep in anywhere. He repeated this explanation to himself, as he recrossed the room, walking backwards, with his eyes fixed upon the thing. When he reached his desk, he sat down and he gripped the arms of his chair until his fingers turned white. He tried to work, but the empty sockets in that grinning head seemed to be drawing him towards them. He rose and battled with his inclination to fly, screaming, from the room. Rather, glancing fearfully about him, his eye fell upon a high screen standing before the door. He dragged it forward and placed it between himself and the thing, so that he could not see it, nor it see him. Then he sat down again to his work. For a while he forced himself to look at the book in front of him, but at last, unable to control himself any longer, he suffered his eyes to follow their own bent. It may have been a hallucination. He may have accidentally placed the screen so as to favour such an illusion, but what he saw was a bony hand coming round the corner of the screen, and with a cry he fell to the floor in a swoon. The people of the house came running in, of course, and lifting him up, carried him out and laid him upon his bed. As soon as he recovered, his first question was, where had they found the thing? Where was it when they had entered the room? And when they told him, they had seen it standing where it always stood, and had gone down into the room to look again because of his frenzied entreaties, and returned trying to hide their smiles. He listened to their talk about overwork, about the necessity for change and rest, and said they might do with him as they would. So for many months the laboratory door remained locked. Then there came a chill autumn evening when the man of science opened it again and closed it behind him. He lighted his lamp, gathered his instruments and books around him, and sat down before them in his high-backed chair. And the old terror returned to him. But this time he meant to conquer himself. His nerves were stronger now, his brain clearer. He would fight his unreasoning fear. He crossed to the door and he locked himself in, and flung the key to the other end of the room, where it fell among jars and bottles with an echoing clatter. Later on, his old housekeeper, going her final round, tapped at his door and wished him good night, as was her custom. She received no response at first. Growing nervous, she tapped louder, called again, and at length an answering good night came back to her. She thought little about it at the time, but afterwards she remembered that the voice that had replied to her is one Alasdair needed to do again. Later on, his old housekeeper, going her final round, tapped at his door and wished him good night, as was her custom. She received no response at first, and growing nervous, tapped louder and called again, and at length an answering good night came back to her. She thought little about it at the time, but afterwards she remembered that the voice that had replied to her had been strangely grating, almost mechanical. Trying to describe it, she likened it to such a voice she would imagine coming from a statue. Next morning, his door remained still locked. It was no unusual thing for him to work all night and far into the next day, so no one thought to be surprised. When, however, evening came, and yet he did not appear, his servants gathered outside the room and whispered, remembering what had happened once before. They listened, but could hear no sound. They shook the door, they called to him, then beat with their fists upon the wooden panels, but still no sound came from the room. They became alarmed and decided to burst open the door, and after many blows, it gave way and they crowded in. He sat bolt upright in his high-backed chair. They thought at first he had died in his sleep, but when they drew nearer and the light fell upon him, they saw the livid marks of bony fingers round his throat, and in his eyes there was a terror such as is not often seen in human eyes. Brown was the first to break the silence that followed. He asked me if I had any brandy on board. He said he felt like just a nip of brandy before going to bed. That is one of the chief charms of Jeffson's stories. They always make you feel like you want just a little brandy.
I am made of questions. Drop him in acid.
Drop him in acid.
Okay.
And yes, canonically, I believe Jeffson was 3 feet tall in both directions. Jeffson, where's your neck? In Edinburgh.
In the north. Okay, so the story starts with them telling us about a ghost this guy sees in London.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to spontaneously hang out with his mates. And then one of his mates tells him another story about this guy. What happened to the first ghost?
That's actually one of the things I love about this the most. It's a moment of genuine Fortiana. In that it's, here's a weird thing. You're going to understand it? No. It's also an experience my mother's had. Or at least says she had. She was an...
Strangled to death by a ghost
no,
in
the
Notre
first
Dame?
bit. The first bit.
Good.
The meeting the dead person.
Good.
My mum worked as a nurse at Leeds General Infirmary when she was younger. And at that time, I'm sure I've told the story on the stream, Leeds General Infirmary was basically a big central hub, a corridor and a corridor. And you would kind of orbit around the hub to get where you needed to be. And she came in one night, and a patient who she'd been working with for some time was heading out. And this lady looked great. Yeah, she was dressed to the nines, she looked healthy. And they met at this hub, so they kind of orbited around one another. And my mum went, "Oh, are you doing well?" And she went, "Yes, I am. Thank you so much, dear. Goodbye." And then she showed up on the ward and was told the lady had died 6 hours previously.
Oh my.
Yeah.
She was just seeing herself out then.
She was just seeing herself out. So yeah.
The best way to get revenge is to die and be made into an anatomical skeleton and wait for a long time.
But I mean, think about the rage. Think about, I fucking had him. I fucking had him. It was right. Okay, I'm going to become a skeleton. And eventually, I'm going to end up in his lab. I'm going to fucking kill him.
That is very much the long game.
And then, I love how the story heavily implies this, the skeleton goes back to its corner and is just like, what? I don't see no bony fingers.
Ain't no murdering ghost here.
Throttled himself on my hands. Just
so the skeleton defeated God. Yes, I'm sure it did.
Face God, yeet backwards into hell. Or in this case, an anatomical laboratory. But yeah, I love that the inciting incident is firstly one of those moments of beautiful Fortiana, and secondly that it shows you that Jefferson's kind of a dick. He is that friend who you come to with this really weird thing happened. He's like, "You think that was bad? Oh!"
And I love how this cast of characters, and therefore your accents, just show up out of nowhere. It's like, guy has an experience, and then all of a sudden, of course, he's surrounded with 4 different people who want to discuss it with him because he's a white guy.
Bros.
Right? It could use a bit more I say, bros. I bet this. See. You're right, Stitch. In the animated version of this movie, the skeleton would absolutely be grinning ear to ear at the end of the story. Yeah, that's how it would work.
But I really like that. It's short and it's weird and it refuses to explain anything. I also love as you said, the almost fabled nature of a man was wronged.
I see. I love that. I love the fact that like the circumstances of like that whole setup are completely irrelevant. It's just the archetype of a wronged man and the man he has wronged, like chasing each other through the countryside where there are so few travelers. You could just ask the person who came through here. There was only one. It was obviously him. How long ago was that?
Also, I think it was Wendy who pointed out that the end of the first paragraph being, I had a lovely conversation with this chap, and then I was told he was dead, is normally the end of these stories.
Yeah. And here it gets used as kind of a premise / one-upmanship, almost.
I genuinely can't help but see the
Compost, this was his group chat.
There's clearly
Oh, see, but that would be a great way to remake the
My
story,
dudes.
wouldn't it? It would be. Okay, well, you could do it with, like, emojis. It'd just be like, lol, hold my beer, right? I'm going to tell you another story. That would be an excellent premise.
Post selfie with dudes like, hey, I met Wayne. Dude, Wayne died 6 months ago. What?
Yeah, exactly. No, I could totally see that as a remake. That would be really good.
That's a fun piece. I really like that.
That sounds real. They could have a talk. No. Let's not.
Hello and welcome to Something Weird Happened to Us Once a long time ago.
And we're white guys, so we have a podcast. No.
Okay, so which one of you has the beard, and which one of you is the one who's done no research and has the research explained to him?
And then the other one is really into either craft beers or an obscure martial art.
Have I told you about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Endlessly.
Yes. Because the characters aren't really characters. They're just a scientist or whatever, right? They're just like roles.
Yes.
They don't... The people telling the story or asking the questions, like the Irish guy... Well, I'm using your words here, but, they have names. But they don't have, like, backstories or personalities or anything. They just have distinguishing names. But the man who was wronged... And the man who wronged him, the one motivated by fear and the one motivated by revenge,
are almost
they're not
archetypes.
named. They're archetypes.
Yeah. It also
someone changes the name to Skelly Boy.
Mate, he did Nine Alive a while back. What?
Remind me of the group chat Shakespeare books. Oh my gosh, I have got to stop yawning. I'm sorry, everybody. Jokes. Just roles. Yeah, they're just roles. They're not even characters. Should we take a little break?
Yes.
And then come back and do some funny stuff?
Yeah, I think we should.
That sounds like
especially as I love that. I love the idea of it as a group chat. And I also can't quite shake the idea of the In-Betweeners cast doing this.
In-Betweeners.
Legendarily profane idiot teen sitcom.
Okay.
Yes.
Dude.
Let's go to break.
That's what I would do. All right. We're going to take a quick stretch, everybody. This is a good chance for you to refill your beverages. If you didn't eat a snack before, you might need one now. And then we're going to come back and do some hopeful silliness before bed. We'll be right back. It's just a thing. Hello, and welcome back. He was singing Highway to Hell, and then he was pointing to me like there were other lyrics or something, and there's not. So
I was doing a bit. It didn't land.
it didn't
It's
land.
all right.
It's okay. Sometimes bits don't land. Bits don't let. That could be like a song lyric. It's like
a
Boys
Shakira
Don't
song
Cry.
about the difficulty of improv comedy.
Bits don't land.
Or the Cure. Bits don't land.
Okay, so as somebody who had to deal with the fact that was not a Talking Head song and it was actually Billy Idol's Rebel Yell. That was no, was it Tears for Fears that I got it confused with?
I think so.
Yeah. Anyway, there are way too many hurdles now. And there's like an original one, there's like an 80s one, there's like a 90s one. There's so many hurdles, and I love them all.
It's actually been really educational to me, these games exploding, because it's done an awful lot to teach me what kind of memory I have.
It's like they're one, like, song. Radiohead has one song, and it all starts like that, so...
I suck at postidle, which is here's a movie poster in huge pixels which slowly resolves across 20 seconds.
I haven't even seen that one. There's so many of them now.
I get to like 3 seconds in and I always go, Jurassic Park! And it's always not Jurassic Park, apart from one time. But the one that I'm really enjoying at the moment is Moviedle, which is, here is a film in 1 second.
Yeah, they condense the movie down to 1 second's worth of footage and you have to guess it. And that one I'm okay on. You're really good at Framed. I'm not so good at Framed.
Framed is teaching me thank you. It's teaching me a surprising amount of movies start the exact same way.
See, I want to do one right now, but the problem is that would totally shut it down because it would get a copyright strike. But they're fun. I do enjoy them. I like them better than like Wordle or any of the word-based games. Well, they're songs, of course. I like them
the
better,
only
right?
one I've seen where I've gone, this is not a game. This is a torture device. Is Actordle, which is you have an actor's name and you have the genres of movies they starred in.
Oh
and
my
what
god,
year.
no!
And I'm just like, this is not my brain. My brain cannot do this. My brain can do that was Lindsay Lohan, Arrival. Or that Freaky Friday, that was Arrival. That was, that I can do.
I like the music ones, though, because I like music puzzles.
Yes.
I either know it instantly, or I have to, like, really work really hard and only get it in, like, the last guess or two.
And yeah, getting Radiohead off a single drum was like, oh, okay.
Or, like, it's weird, like the contemporary normal hurdle, I do pretty well on. I can do. And the 80s one I can do like nothing. But like the 90s one, I kind of suck at. But like if there was like a 2000s one, I'd be really good at it. Is there a 2000s one? Excuse me, I need to go check if there's even more hurdle.
Detour.
Is there even more hurdle available to me?
All the hurdles.
To the internet. Let's find out.
Yeah, Zolia, I'm exactly the same. I swear with word lessons, I start when I forget every word I've ever known. I'm just like, teeth. Teeth.
Why is my keyboard not working all of a sudden? No.
I run so far
But
away.
it was the same freaking intro drum beat. It was either that song or it was Rebel Yell from Billy Idol, and I got it wrong. I was like, Hurdle 2000.
Oh shit, it's autocomplete.
It's autocomplete, that's a good sign. No, it's like hurdle jumping horse
Damn
race.
you, horse racing!
Let me try hurdle game.
Try HER.
Oh, okay. HEARDLE. Hurdle 2000s. No?
That auto-corrected back to
No,
hurdle,
stop
as in the fence you
auto-correcting!
jump over.
Hurdle 2000s.
Oh shit.
Oh, there is one! Oh, but I think it's in Spanish. Okay, go in English. Oh, okay, I have to DM this to myself so that I can play it later tonight, and then I can play it again tomorrow, because this is like the alarm has gone off, and I don't want to get out of bed yet, but I can't go back to sleep, so I'm going to play all my hurdles, and then it wakes him up, and it's like, okay. I got annoyed.
Yeah, I've had that exact
For a second, it was
experience.
just a cough. and I got the right band and the album, but the wrong song. Yeah, a lot of times. Oh, that was the one that was freaking, I thought it was Extreme, but it's not Extreme. It was the song.
It was Mr. Big.
It was Mr. Big, and I got the freaking artist wrong.
Who occupied the same space as Extreme, and I can only imagine the pair were eventually fired together to form some form of Ron Silver at the end of Time Cop-esque CGI column of gristle. Also the name of a really good death metal band.
Also, the fact that they did It's Gonna Be Me on April 30th just made me so happy. I was like, you individual and I shall be friends, for we share this sense of humor. First three goes had nothing in it. Yeah, it was just the drum beat. And I'm like, but I've heard that drum beat so many
Sometimes
times.
I just guess Arrival. Doesn't even matter.
The other one they did, Pure Energy. I was so used to the radio edit, which does not start with the Bones. Going back to Star Trek, does not start with the clip from Bones on it. It starts with the drum cut that has Mr. Spock saying Pure Energy in it. And I was like, wait, but this part's right, but that intro's wrong.
Who?
So, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I love these. We were going to do fun stuff.
Yes, we were.
This is kind of fun stuff.
This is fun. We like hanging out with you folks.
Please.
It's good to see you all.
Please tell me this is fun stuff, because otherwise I'm going to get self-conscious. Okay. We are going to do some more shenanigans.
Previously on Shenanigans, we did a deep dive into last week's frankly magnificent interview guests.
Was that last week?
I think it was last week. The good folks at Black Tabby Games.
I'm going to have to literally look up the date. I can't remember anymore.
Time has
no meaning. Last week.
Time has no meaning.
Oh my gosh,
Time has no meaning.
Yeah, so that was last week. That was a really fun interview.
It was a great interview.
That was a lot of... Time is fake. It was really fun. And Ducky's already pulled some really amazing stuff for the screenshots. For that. I'm really looking forward to it. So, what we're going to do today is a little bit more of... She says, I'm hoping she clicks the right button.
Yes!
Okay, so, you want to scooch back in here?
Yeah.
There you go, so now you're in frame. We are going to do more of the fun shenanigans. This week unknown. Alright, let's see. So, which one? I left myself notes which one we left off on. Hang on, I gotta find them. Scroll! Number 11. Okay. Hold on. Okay. I have to coordinate all of this. So, Number 11. The question was, changing gears, we've got a question for Reese. What type of paint do you prefer to work with?
Acrylics. They're cheap and fast, so I can do a painting in a night and put it away and never have to look at it again. Watercolors are kind of light and ephemeral by nature, and that's not really my thing. And I haven't had a lot of experience with oils. And tempera is a joke, so acrylics it is.
I've seen actually very, very dark watercolors, but that's quite interesting.
I've done really dark watercolors.
You've done dark watercolors?
Oh, I did one.
Okay, I want to see it. All right, next one.
Kanika, do you ever drive out to the beach?
No. I wish I could, but who has the time?
Stella, it's been a while. Have you ever considered running Gretchen for mayor?
No way. That's too much responsibility for both of us. I'd have to bring her around to get her picture taken with people, and that seriously cut into our messing around in the woods time. That's our favorite time. Look at Gretchen, our beloved.
In full derp.
And she's making biscuits, and I want some now. Gretchen, we love you.
Hey Sybil, where'd you get your clothes? I like them.
I'm afraid I couldn't say. Most of these are either handmade or hand-me-downs. The slippers are from Amazon, though. A present from Kanika. Hang on, I'm going to examine her house for some more clues. I'm on to you, Sybil. You're sus. I think I literally used to have this little altar thing up here in the corner. I think it was in one of those meditation apps I had.
I think it is.
I'll have to look it up. All right.
Tabitha, What the fuck is wrong with you?
No, that's not the question. Nice try.
Tabitha,
I've lost my place. Help.
15.
Here. Okay, good.
Tabitha, what's your favourite quotation from A Midsummer Night's Dream?
That was years ago. And I had maybe 3 lines. I didn't even read the rest of the play. Reese, what is your favourite food?
Before all this, believe it or not, I really liked liver. The doc used to get a real kick out of it. Her freakish son who would eat organ meat with a big smile on his face. Nowadays, I guess it's saltines or something. I don't know. I try not to think about food much.
Sus.
Liver, huh?
Very, very sus. Very sus. Alright, you ready for this one? Dustin! What do you like most about living in the house?
Warm all the time, even at night. Not as many bug, but plenty bread.
Look at Dustin, our beloved, all warm and curled up in there.
Question for Stella.
Hold on. I have a theory why he calls his mom Doc. And it's not that such, just more bad luck for him. I just shouted Dustin so loud the cat scattered. Oh no, Pissy! Or it's going to be like Gravity Falls where it turns out to be a bunch of gnomes in a hoodie. I don't know what's going on with Reese. I'm sure we'll find out more. Okay, so the question was for Stella, right? Okay.
Yep.
Hold on. Loading. Ask the question.
Stella, who's your favourite Ghostbuster?
It's been forever since I saw Ghostbusters. Was Sigourney Weaver ever allowed to be a Ghostbuster? She was the best part of the movie, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with her.
My 2 responses to that are, I'm 90% certain Dana actually ends up as an active Ghostbuster in the cartoon.
She does. And second, we must introduce Stella to Holtzman.
Yes. And remember, safety lights are for dudes.
Safety lights are for dudes! Oh, this would be so good.
Oh, yeah. Holtzy for sure.
All right.
Sybil, what kind of tea do you recommend for a family trying to break a curse on their bloodline?
No reason? Ha! You do come up with such funny little questions. But I suppose that would be something that would require a lot of hard work and concentration. So perhaps something caffeinated. A breakfast tea? I'm partial to Earl Grey. Who drinks Earl Grey for breakfast tea, though?
I would drink Earl Grey tea for breakfast tea.
For breakfast?
Probably Darjeeling. It's a stronger, broader flavour, but...
No.
Tea, Earl Grey, decaffeinated.
Earl Grey is like an afternoon, like, thinking kind of tea, not like a breakfast tea.
Yeah, Stitch, feel free to drop your theory in chat.
Okay.
Tabitha.
Hold on. I'm just loading. What number? I'm sorry, I'm having to, like, load in all the screenshots. Yes, I did save them all down so that you could see them all. You're welcome. Go.
Tabitha. Where did Frou Frou come from?
She was a barn kitten I picked up from the farms. Maybe that's why she's so standoffish. It's like she's half feral or something.
That cat was raised in the French Revolution, and I will hear no different.
Frou Frou's indignant, I'm sure
How
of it.
dare you?
I just drink Yorkshire tea. Okay.
Nothing wrong with Yorkshire tea.
I'm American. We have Lipton.
Ooh, that's good.
What's this theory?
I think he's adopted and is actually a scarlet. There's been no male scarlet for 100 years, or at least no known ones. So I suspect things go badly for them.
That would be really
That's
interesting.
good, Stitch.
Because we've now seen... Okay, we're going to take a detour into theory land here. We know how Stella's parents are related to the town, and Stella's related to the town. And we know more about Kanika, a little bit more about Kanika's connection now as well. But Reese is still a bit of a how do you fit in kind of person. So that's a really interesting theory. Plus, he's living in a house with another carving, which have only been able to we've only been able to see affect Scarlet so far.
That's a good spot. That's a really good spot.
There's going to be one of those carvings in Tabitha's house. It's behind that door.
Yeah.
It's freaking behind that door. Ooh. Okay, where were we? Hold on. Now we're on number 12.
Navigate towards dad bod.
All right. Oscar, what's your favorite book genre?
Well, I'm partial to non-fiction, as boring as that probably sounds. I'm just fascinated by other people's lives and the world as a whole. I'm always looking to learn what I can about the world outside our little holler. But when I want to relax, I've been known to settle down with a good mystery.
With a good...
Mystery.
But not put a shirt on. Which we all appreciate.
Having recently seen Moon Knight, that's Oscar Isaac in my head now.
Yeah, pretty much. Oscar Isaac if you fed the boy.
Because he is kind of a sexy stick figure right now.
He needs some meat on his bones. He's too skinny. He'd be
pointy.
He'd be pokey. No, I like
Hello.
Squishy. I like squishy. Okay. Yes, I'll be in my squish. Okay. Which one are we on now? Okay, hang on. Okay. Yo, Zane! You doing alright, man? Everything chill after all of that?
Yo, I will never be the same again.
No, so you know who we need to get? Who plays Guillermo?
Compost has just suggested him Harvey Gwilyn
Yes,
20 years.
Yes. That would be an excellent. Oh, okay, you get to do this one too. This will be fun.
We haven't got a voice for the ditchlings yet, so...
That's fine.
Okay.
Dear ditchlings, you guys okay? You seem tense. Bravo. Thank you for that. Kanika. Oh, you have to ask me.
Kanika in specific. Fave horror movie.
I think it might be more of a thriller, but Perfect Blue, so good. Oh, and The Grudge. That movie scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
She is not alone. Stella, do you have a favorite cryptid?
Loading, please wait. Picking favorites is so hard, but I think the Fresno Nightcrawlers are cute. Though I also like the Jersey Devil. He's so cool. And Mothman, too. Can my favorite just be all of them?
Teen Fresno Nightcrawlers.
You love the...
I love the Fresno Nightcrawlers.
The freaking haunted pants.
The leggy boys.
The leggy boys. Yes, okay, everybody. Best favorite cryptids. Mothman undisputably has the best ass. The best statue of an ass that you can go and touch as well. We have friends who recently went to touch the statue of Mothman's ass. You obviously love...
I love the Fresno Nightcrawlers. I love them. They are the only terrifying otherworldly visitors. I kind of want to pat on where their head would be and go, it's okay, little buddy. It'll be okay.
I'm conflicted about whether or not this counts as a cryptid or not, but I kind of grew up near the Pacific Northwest, so I'm very fond of Sasquatch.
Sasquatch is absolutely a cryptid.
Good. Oh no, see, Compost Witch, I played way too much Deadlands to ever want to get anywhere near a botch bunny. No, Jackalopes, you can stay over there, away from me.
Hi, I'm really cute, and so is the bad luck I'm about to give you.
And now you're dead. Yes, exactly. Beast of Bon War, yep. Very much so. Squonk. Nice. All right,
Good
where
choices.
where were we? You didn't say Siren Head at all. I'm kind of surprised.
I know.
All right. Black Shuck, classic. What did Rubesco and Ducky? I didn't see what Ducky's choice was. Beast of Bon War, good, okay. And everybody loves Nessie, of course.
Everyone loves Nessie.
But Nessie's gone so corporate. A total sellout. Anyway, all right. Where are we? This is fun. Zane, grant us your wisdom.
A truly wise man knows that he knows nothing.
No. You need to go full Bill and Ted for that one.
Okay, dude, a truly wise man knows that he knows nothing.
Much better. Dust, wind, dude.
One of my default descriptions at the moment.
Really?
Several of my drafts have, in the place where location description will go later, I just have dust, wind, dude.
Love it. Lampton Worm?
Lambton Worm's a good one.
What
That's
is
a
what
deep
is that
cut.
as a group?
If I remember correctly, the Lambton Worm is one of England's several dragons that lives in a well.
Oh, okay. Lampton Worm. Well, there's the pup. Is a legend from County Durham in northeast England. It's around the River Wear and is battle with a giant worm / dragon.
Kind of dragony. Just hangs out doing dragony stuff.
The Worm's Wrath. The Curse? Oh, they all drowned. Oh, and there's a song!
Of course there's a song.
Oh, it may be where the concept of googly eyes was popularized. Oh, okay, this is fascinating. There we go. British have a lot of worms, dragons, whatever. They're really cool ones with Merlin stories. Yes, exactly. I'll tell you about the worm. Oh, nice. Nice. Okay. All right. Zane granted us his wisdom, and now we're going to talk to... Who are we talking to next?
Miles.
Miles. How long have you been playing that Dragon Ball Z game? Do you have any tips for a new player?
Okay. I wouldn't normally talk to old people, but Dragon Ball Z Dick Battle is all about patience. You got to know what banners you should actually pull out, and you got to not get hated by anything else. JP is like 6 months ahead of global anyways, so it shouldn't be that hard.
I have no idea what any of that means. That's okay. All right, what's up next? Frou-Frou. Which human do you find least irritating?
The only human I have yet to come to despise was the old one. Mother to see young one who stomps around in some big muddy boots. She had the decency to leave me alone. I cannot recall a single instance when she tried to pet me. You could all take a lesson from her.
Nice. Poor Frou-Frou.
I always forget how Frou-Frou's default image is just every line is "fuck you."
Yes. No, fuck you. Frou-Frou begins.
Sybil, in
No,
general.
no,
Oh no, Stella, have you ever thought about breaking into food YouTube?
It crossed my mind, but I'd have to start a whole different channel. And I'd have to figure out how to make my food look YouTube level fancy. Seems like a lot of work. Still, it's a decent backup plan if I ever run out of cryptid content.
Sybil, in general, favorite tea?
That depends on the season and the time of day as well. There's a tea for every occasion, in my opinion, even if the occasion is as simple as 2 o'clock. Today, the tea that brought me the most joy was a simple ginseng around noon. Complex, earthy flavors are some of my favorites.
Does Tabby know Minecraft? How does she feel about it? Tabitha pulls out her phone, typing Minecraft into a search engine.
Wait, Minecraft? I have to think about mines all day long. Why would I think about mines in my spare time, too?
Dr. Kelly, could you take a look at this lump on my wrist, please?
Oh, wow. This is going to be scary. That's called a bone. Most people have them. I can't believe you booked in an hour of my time for this. Hold on. Dustin, would you allow pets in exchange for fruits? I wish to pet, but don't want to scare.
Fruits. Maybe soon Dustin will not be scared of human anymore. Could be convinced. Give fruits first, then Dustin decide later.
Excellent capitalism, I approve. Oh, God.
Stella, what the heck is meat rice?
I'm pretty sure it's chunks of meat that have been shaved down into these little rice grain shapes and dehydrated. Kind of like you put a steak through a food processor, then sucked all the moisture out of it. It's some kind of keto thing, I think. Don't tell them I said this, but I'm not a fan. I'm sure I'll come up with some recipe that works for it, though. At the very least, Gretchen seems to like it. It's like pre-chewed little chunks of food. Dustin, what was your favorite food?
Dustin like any food, but one time, Dustin found thing in garbage. Sweet bread with sweet goop on top and with sticks stuck inside. Best thing Dustin have ever ate. Dustin dream of it on hungry nights.
Wax sticks stuck inside sweet bread. What do we think that is?
Corn dogs?
Something on a stick. Wax sticks, though, stuck inside. Because I'd always think like a cinnamon roll.
Maybe it means like the little flag you get on some food. Congratulations, this is funnel cake, America.
Sprinkles in the icing? Birthday cake? Oh, now I have more questions than answers now. Sweet bread with sweet goop on top. So that could be any confectionery that has a glaze or a frosting. And wax sticks stuck inside.
Pinata?
Maybe some kind of filling?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Wax stick stuck inside birthday cake. Wendy nailed it.
Cupcake with a candle. There we go. Yeah, for sure.
Wendy and Jorge nailed it. Good job, folks.
Birthday cake with a candle. Yeah, poor Dustin ate the candle. Dustin, don't eat the candles. All right, next.
Get off the stage, Ralphie.
Tabitha.
Tabitha, have you ever tried, is it Colt's?
Calf's
brain aspect. What the fuck?
Okay.
Oh,
you were a child of the country. You know what calf's brain aspic is. Affectionately known to my siblings and I as pig butt jello. It is what you get when you are finished processing a pig, and you put all the bones, most notably the head, in a big vat, and you boil it, and then you make a gelatin out of, you take out the bones, and then you take all that gelatinous liquid that is left, and all the leftover meaty bits, and you set it into a mold, and then you slice it. It looks like pig butt jello. It's
Let's
awful.
move on.
Absolutely not. It's not my thing. The way it jiggles and that congealed oval smell, ugh, it makes me queasy. Yeah, it is not for, it is, the politest thing I can say about it is a generational thing. It is survival food. Brain jelly, basically. I'm not going to waste a single freaking scrap of anything, and this is the form in which that will congeal. Ooh, okay. Okay. I'm going to wander around in the dark with a knife.
Don't leave.
Okay. Reese, did you always have a passion for art? Or did that only happen due to becoming ill?
I've always been into art, but it's hard to say if I would have been this into it if my life had gone some other way. Maybe I wouldn't have needed it as much. It sounds a little sad now that I think about it. Whoever that Reese is, he's a stranger to me.
Everything but the squeal food is a very good way of just. Oh, brain sorbet. Yeah, very different type of brain sorbet, that's for sure.
Literal brain sorbet.
All right. Dustin, do you have any siblings? How many? What are their names?
There used to be other ones, but Dustin only child now. Means Dustin don't have to compete for attention from Mom anymore.
Oh, here's another kitty. Pixel, if you could have voted, who would you have voted for mayor?
I would have voted for me. It's about time there was a cat in charge around here, and I already live in the library. Pixel for mayor.
Pixel for mayor would be good. Or even, okay, so we'll have Gretchen run for mayor with Pixel as VP.
Yes.
Truly a balanced ticket.
Cross paws of unity.
Thank you. I need a doggy for mayor subplot so very, very badly.
The dog wing.
Okay.
Off. Let's continue.
Raid!
Rosalina, what's your favourite subject in school?
I like language arts. If I finish my work before the end of the class period, the teacher lets me do creative writing. That's like my favorite thing to do. I've got this one story I'm writing about this girl who sprouts wings on her 13th birthday and finds out she's actually from another dimension. Oh, sorry. I won't go into it. It's just something I do for fun.
Okay, this kid's going to be fine.
Yes. Oh, Pixel the Paper Shredder would never get elected. Would spoil all the ballots. Oh, true. Probably.
Going to wrap things up with a question for almost everyone. We know that one of Stella's primary love languages is cooking for you. What are the other characters' love languages?
Right,
Kanika?
so first up is Kanika. I'm a gift giver. When I care about someone, I like to get them little things that I think they might like to show I'm thinking of them. Okay. I also would like to hear more of Rosalina's story. We need to search AO3 and see if it's available. Next up, Oscar.
I know it's probably obvious, but I like to recommend books, especially if they're books I think the two of us will like. If we can connect over books, I know we'll get along.
This explains our living room so much.
Yes, it does.
Good grief. Next up is Avery.
For friends, I like to give plant cuttings. I think there's something about sharing a living thing that brings people closer together. But for more serious relationships, I've been known to write a song or two for people I really care about.
I now feel like I really should have gone out and had breakfast with Avery. Also, can we all note how precipitously this poor house is?
Is the house getting further off the cliff every time?
I don't know.
Also, we haven't seen that location yet.
No. It looks like some sort of community garden or like allotments or something. Okay. Next up is Reese.
I know it's probably obvious, but drawing. I get to study their features to really understand how they're put together, all while spending a long, quiet, intimate moment together. And at the end, I have a memento of the time we spent together, something that lets them know I care enough to study them as closely to want to commit them to memory forever.
Aww.
This is all just in theory. Never really gotten that close with someone before.
But look at his face.
He's all lit up.
Aww.
Little fella.
And finally,
Tabitha.
Giving someone the time of day should be enough for them to know I care. That is so Tabitha. But look at her shy little smile.
She's like,
I know, Reese is very, very sweet. I really like Reese a lot. And that is the first, 45 of them?
Yeah, when they're like 100 or
I think they said something like they got over 200 of them. So I'm sure there will be another
we'll
thread
be back
of them
here, I'm
in the
sure.
future. And we will definitely be returning to more of these. Oh, right. Let us tell these fine folks where they can find us.
You can find us this coming
Everywhere!
Friday on...
With the thing and the stuff!
You know, the thing we do with the words and the
The newsletter?
Yeah,
and the award nominations?
We have a Hugo Award. We have a Hugo Award nominated newsletter called Friday is when it is released.
Well done.
Thank you. We're Hugo nominated this year. We have a bunch of people in the podcast who are also Hugo nominated, not just for work from us, for other stuff as well. Massive congratulations to our buddy Divya, who is a Locust shortlist finalist.
And so is Primi, if I remember correctly, and sure is Sheree Clark. Primi, I believe, is novella. Sheree and is fantasy novel, and I believe Divya's debut novel,
yes,
if
indeed.
I'm remembering correctly off the top of my head, which is nice.
So that's all awesome, and the full lid will be out this Friday. The content that's locked at present includes a John Oliver video I've been wanting to run for a couple of weeks, a tribute to recently passed iconic comic artist George Perez, and possibly a Batman thing I'm far too proud of, but we might run in a month's time. Who knows?
Why would you not run it now?
Because Batman is available to buy in a month's time.
Okay, that's fine. And then on Sunday we will be playing more Outer Wilds, where we are in not gas but floaty planet. But now we have to go back to Brittle Hollow because we found a connection
Yes.
between Giant's Deep and Brittle Hollow that we have to go explore. Because otherwise we get stuck in the vacuum gravity tubes of why does everything in this universe just really planetary gravity is its plaything. It's like, oh look, it's a landmass. I'm gonna throw it up in orbit and then it's gonna land again. Oh, okay. We're exploring Outer Wilds. It's a heck of a lot of fun. We're having a great time with it. That'll be Sunday at 10:30 a.m. UK time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will be back here next week where I think we're going to do an M.R. James.
Yeah, we've got a couple of nice, long, chunky M.R. James stories.
Which
we're
are...
We're going to get into.
Yes, exactly. Which are... I've completely lost my thought. Never mind. Hi, Kate. Hello? Hello what? That sounds good. I think that's everything.
I think it is.
I feel like I missed something.
Okay, so let's do the list. We have the full load out on Friday.
Yeah. Sunday.
Sunday's the stream as standard.
Next Wednesday.
All the various podcasts drop Thursday, Friday, and Saturday as usual.
All the things
That's the other thing.
What?
That's the other thing.
Oh yes,
Several other podcasts. Second episode of Rogue Maker is out. I believe that Prob's Not Hawkeye is correct. Next Wednesday.
Right, but next Thursday they're gonna do a live listen along, and we're gonna join in.
Yes,
so that will be really fun.
Which
because
will be
that's
super fun.
One of Malachi's.
It is one of the two. There are 2 or 3 episodes with big Malachi beats in it, and this is the first one.
Yep.
So that's out. I believe my second episode of Carrying Into the Void that I'm co-hosting with Brock is out now as well, which is a really, really good one. And
I know that you've done an enthusiasm about Star Wars recently. I'm not
Yes.
sure if that's gone to the public feed or not yet. But yes, many, many podcasts. Much talking do us. I think that's everything.
I think that is just about everything.
Yeah. Thank you all very much for joining us.
Thank you, folks.
I hope the fiction was fun and that you don't have any skeletons sitting in the corners of your bedrooms.
We're pretty certain we don't. The dapper lumberjack boy takes care of those.
Really?
Mm.
I don't...
No,
I don't want to have any skeletons in my bedroom. I don't even want a television in my bedroom, let alone a skeleton. That is for people made of sterner stuff than I am. I'm going to go get Paramount Plus to start Star Trek. Have a fantastic time with that. I can't wait to talk to you about it, Hawkeye. There's so much. I do, but he's not moved in a while. Good, Pezzy. You might want to just double check that. I hope everybody has a great night, and we will see you when we see you.
Have a good one, folks. We'll see you next time.
Right. You have to do the thing.
I've been Alasdair.
And I've been Marguerite.
And this has been fun.
Have a good night, everybody.